Now at 5 a.m. on WKYT this morning, remembered as the greatest, Muhammad Ali will be buried today in Louisville. What's being done to honor him throughout this day? Just ahead. People in a Lexington community are questioning their safety after what police say was a random shooting. We'll hear from one of those people coming up this morning. And 3 Lexington gas stations were robbed overnight. We'll have more on what police suspect happened coming up on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you, and it's so good to have you on WKYT, where Kentucky mornings begin. I'm Bill Bryant, and Rebecca will be joining us a little bit later on. We anticipate some changes in our weather. It's going to be heating up, the humidity's moving in, and Mike is tracking that off chance of some showers today in some areas. Let's check in with him now.
That's exactly right. It's not for everybody, and the best chance is really going to be I-64 and northbound. So you get into northern portions of Kentucky. That's where we have some of these that'll be dive bombing us from the north. So that's something to watch out for later on today. Temperatures 50s and 60s this morning. Actually a pretty nice feel. 88 this afternoon. A much warmer day in store today. And that's not the only day that we're talking about warmer area. It actually gets warmer than that. We'll call it a hot weekend as the heat is cranking up. I'll show you how high we go into the 90s. It's not just 90 degrees, but go a little bit further than that. I'll have that in just a few minutes.
And we'll see you then. In the news this morning, today, Muhammad Ali will be buried in Louisville. The day will begin with a funeral procession that will travel 19 miles through the city, his hometown, passing locations that were very important in Ali's life. WKYT's Mike Beyer is live in Louisville this morning with more on the plans for Ali's funeral service. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Many of Muhammad Ali's fans will gather this morning right here at the Ali Center. It's one of many locations a procession will pass with the body of the 3-time heavyweight champion. Now, the procession is expected to begin at 9 this morning. It'll make its way through the streets of his hometown, passing places like the Ali Center and his boyhood home on Grand Avenue. The procession will come to an end at Cave Hill Cemetery, where Ali will be laid to rest. A public memorial service will follow at 2 this afternoon at the KFC Yum Center. Tickets for the memorial were given out for free and quickly ran out Wednesday. Ali's longtime friend and former president Bill Clinton will eulogize the champ. Other notables taking part in the eulogy are Billy Crystal and Bryant Gumbel. Now, if you can't make it out to Louisville today to catch part of his procession or even take part of the festivities at the KFC Yum Center, you can catch all the action on WKYT, WKYT.com, or through our mobile news app beginning at 2 o'clock. Live in Louisville, Mike Beyer, WKYT.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Again, that's a special report from WKYT at 2 this afternoon. Now, many people in Lexington are also remembering Muhammad Ali and an important visit that he made to the city to try to heal things in the 1990s. In the fall of 1994, it was a time of unrest. Protests, even riots had broken out in Lexington. A white police officer had shot a black teenager, Tony Sullivan, and Chester Grundy, a civil rights activist who founded the Martin Luther King Cultural Center at UK, says he was trying to figure out how to bring light and healing to a hurting city. Grundy found just the man to do it.
It was the kind of thing that brought people together from across the community, across race, class, circumstance, all to see, this man that was so deeply beloved by everybody.
Ali kicked off his 2-day trip to Lexington with a welcoming ceremony at the Dunbar Community Center. He watched the Wildcats play, and he got a standing ovation as the Y at the Rupp Arena. Grundy says it's now time to teach the lessons that Lexington and the world learned from Ali to the next generation. Tonight, the Kentucky Theater in Lexington will honor Muhammad Ali with a showing of the 1996 documentary, When We Were Kings. It's about the Rumble in the Jungle heavyweight championship, that match between Ali and George Foreman back in 1974. Kentucky Theater managers say they wanted to do something to honor Ali's legacy. The showing of When We Were Kings will be at 9:40 tonight. Tickets are $6 each for that. Other news now. Police are investigating after 3 gas station robberies in Lexington overnight. Our Michelle Chamberlain is tracking that. She's at our alert desk with details on the suspect. Michelle?
Bill, police can't positively say it was the same person in all 3 robberies, but they do know that in all the 3 robberies, the person had the same description. Take a look at this map. All these robberies took place in the same vicinity. First one was at Shell. That was on Clays Mill Road. There was another one on Marathon, which took place on Nicholasville Road. And then there was another Marathon. That one was on Boston Road. That was a speedway, rather. In all 3 robberies, the suspect is a man wearing all black, a black hoodie, bandana, and dark pants. He entered each store with a gun, demanded and got money, ran out, and drove off in a dark SUV. So with all this information, the robberies are believed to be connected, but like I said before, police cannot positively say that is the case. Now, this is the second time this week Lexington police have had to deal with multiple robberies in a short time frame. If you remember, earlier this week, a police chase resulted in 3 men being arrested in connection to a spree of robberies on Monday. Bill?
All right, it's something we'll keep watch on, and we thank you very much, Michelle. People in a Lexington neighborhood have many questions this morning after police say a random shooting left a man critically injured. We first told you about the shooting yesterday morning here on WKYT News. Police say the man was walking with a woman on East Maxwell Street just before 3 o'clock in the morning when someone shot him in the head. Many people who live in the area now say that they are rethinking their own safety.
You would think that a quiet place like Lexington, you could walk home at 3 in the morning if you were just hanging out playing games with your friends.
So far, police have not made any arrests, and they say they do not have a description of the shooter. At last check, police told us the victim was in critical condition. His name has not been released. The trial of a man accused of killing a Lexington man and stuffing his body in a barrel that was eventually found in the Kentucky River is now in a break until Monday. Mark Taylor faces murder and kidnapping charges in the 2013 death of Alex Johnson. Yesterday, Timothy Ballard took the witness stand. Earlier this year, Ballard pled guilty to kidnapping and evidence tampering in the case and agreed to testify against Taylor. Ballard said that Taylor and Johnson were friends and also partners in a marijuana business. He says in December of 2013, he drove Taylor to Johnson's house and Taylor lured Johnson to the car. A short time later, Ballard claims Taylor started beating Johnson.
And what's Alex Johnson's condition at this point?
At this point in time,
Yes.
he's still alive
And how do you know that?
because I heard him take his last breath when I drove away.
Do you believe he died in the car?
I believe so.
Defense attorneys asked Ballard if he killed Johnson, and he said no. Police say the barrel with Johnson's body inside was dumped into the Kentucky River and eventually found. Well, this weekend marks the 43rd annual Festival of the Bluegrass. It is underway. It's at the Kentucky Horse Park Campground, and the music will start at 1 o'clock this afternoon and again tomorrow. And on both days, the music will run to the early morning hours. They have fun out there. The weekend will conclude with a gospel show at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. Certainly something to check out if you have the chance. WKYT This Morning is just getting started. It's so good to have you with us on your Friday. A young girl is hard at work hoping it will all pay off so she can follow her dreams, finding where she wants to go. Coming up after the break.
It's all about the temperatures the next few days. We get close to 90 degrees in the forecast now through your weekend. I'll show you that and also talk about where I expect a couple of rumbles coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Everything looks pretty good outside. I don't see any problems whatsoever. Maybe later on this afternoon, seeing a small, very small chance at a couple of rumbles of thunder, especially northern Kentucky. That's your best bet. Other than that, we stay dry again today. 55 degrees right now in Danville and Boyle County. And then we jump towards your afternoon. We'll be at 88 degrees. It will be warm. I have no doubt about that. Humidity will be on the rise too. So yesterday, getting in toward the afternoon, it was slightly warm, slightly. It still felt pretty nice, but it was slightly warm at times, especially if you were moving around outside. Today, there's no doubt about it. You will be sweating if you're heading out and about later on this afternoon. Also, I'd say noon to about 5 p.m., we can't rule out a rumble of thunder, especially north of I-64. Get into northern Kentucky, Cynthiana, Mount Olivet, go back toward Williamstown. Those areas have the best likelihood as opposed to everybody else. We head off into the evening, and it's long gone. So I've kind of highlighted an area just to say this is your best bet. but it's not a good bet. It's 20% to 40%, okay? So look, that does not, just because you're under the green shade, does not mean you're going to see rain. It just means that's the greatest chance of actually seeing one of those rumbles of thunder actually make it far enough southbound into the region. So it's a slight chance, but there is a chance for later on this afternoon. And then we head toward your weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday there for Lake Cumberland. If you're heading out, it's much warmer. The heat is on there on Saturday as we are going to be looking at Saturday for Lake Cumberland 360. It's a big event, a lot of events going on there on Saturday. You want to do most of your events during the morning as the afternoon bill sitting at 91 degrees. At least it's a dry day. I think if you're going to pull a positive out of it, it's dry, right? So, but you probably won't be dry. You'll be sweating your tail off at 91. And then a small chance of rain there on Sunday.
Oh, but it's fun. Think back to how cold it was in the winter, right?
That's
it
right.
Gives you some perspective. Yeah, we'll be just fine. Thank you. 5:14 our time this morning. A young girl from Texas is choosing to spend her summer doing yard work, and she's hoping that all of her hard work will lead her to the happiest place on earth. The 9-year-old Addison Pickering has been accepted to dance at a holiday parade in Disneyland. But she knows it will be a big cost to her parents, so she is blazing her own trail there.
We gotta get what we want by working hard, so I decided I wanted to mow yards like my dad did when he was young.
Addison has been asked to start a GoFundMe site, but she opted out of that. She says that she just wants to fundraise the good old-fashioned way with hard yard work. So good for her. And what a tremendous lesson she is learning early, and a great example she's setting there. 5:15 our time now on WKYT this morning. Good to have you with us today. Coming up, we'll have a look at your money.
One U.S. county saw jobs surge nearly 7% last year, and one athlete made nearly $90 million. I'm Brooke Silva-Braga in New York. Those stories and more coming up in Money Watch.
Welcome back to WKYT this morning. 5:18 is our time here on your Friday. It's good to have you with us. Let's get this day underway and get it done and get to that weekend. Nashville is top for job growth. One athlete made nearly $90 million last year, and Disney is spreading to China. Brooke Silva-Braga has the latest on your money.
Nashville tops a list of places with surging job numbers, specifically the suburbs south of the city, where Verizon and Nissan helped employment jump 6.8% in little more than a year, according to a new government report. Utah County, Utah, a tech hub near BYU, saw the second biggest jump, followed by Loudoun County, Virginia, a Washington suburb with lots of government jobs. Stocks sagged yesterday, the Dow losing 19 and the Nasdaq down 16. Disney will start making films in China within the next year. The movies will be co-produced with a state-owned Chinese company, helping them avoid restrictions on foreign-made films. China is on track to be the world's largest movie market by next year. For the first time since the 90s, the world's highest-paid athlete plays a team sport. Portuguese soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo made $88 million last year, according to Forbes. Argentine footballer Lionel Messi made $81 million, followed by LeBron James with $77 million. Tiger Woods and boxer Floyd Mayweather had held the top spot for each of the last 15 years. That's your Money Watch. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. In New York, I'm Brooke Silva-Braga.
And the city of brotherly love has no room in its heart for soda. Philadelphia's city council gave preliminary approval for a 1.5 cent per ounce tax on sugary drinks and diet drinks. That's a little more than an extra $1 for a 2-liter bottle of soda. It would be the country's first tax that specifically targets sugary beverages. The city is citing health reasons, but critics say the new tax mainly hurts working-class residents with limited incomes. The city council president there, Darrell Clark, predicts the new tax could raise about $91 million over the next year. And he says that money would go toward schools and parks, among some other city expenses. We'll follow that, see how it turns out. It's 5:20 this morning. A lot more news is coming up for you today, and sports is on the way next.
The state baseball and state softball tournaments opening, and the Kentucky All-Stars take on Indiana this weekend. It's all next in sports.
You got the Fort Herod Beef Festival kicking off today. So are we going to be dry? How warm is it going to be? A lot going on there in Mercer County for today and off towards your weekend with that Beef Festival. And it looks like we have some showers and thunderstorms diving south and southeast. However, Don't expect that in Mercer County. Expect that, at least the possibility of that. It kind of depends on if it sticks together all the way down toward the south, but expect it in northern Kentucky. That's your best bet for today, and that's still a small chance. Most of us stay dry today, 60 degrees there in Lexington. It's actually a really nice start, and then we get into your afternoon at 88 degrees. Remember, most of that is going to be northbound, if any at all. It's a very small chance. We're talking 20 to 30% chance of rain today for that area. Other than that, it's going to be steamy. 90s for the weekend. I'll get into that 7-day coming up. First, let's check out sports, see what's going on.
Good morning, everybody. The state high school baseball tournament has a new format this year. It is now played over 2 weeks. Yesterday, the opening games, including West Jessamine defending its title. The Colts last night facing Bowling Green. Pick it up in the third inning. There's no score. And the Colts' Ryan Wayne with a deep drive to center field. It is back over the head of the center fielder, and 2 runs come in to score. 1 inning later, West Jessamine would simply blow the game open. Hunter Noble bunts. Bowling Green pitcher Stuart Posey throws it away, and that allows Seth Taylor to come in. And then Kendall Peters is jammed on a pitch, but his blooper would drop in and Noble would score. Turned about to be a 4-run inning for West Jessamine, and the Colts get it off to a good start, winning 6-1, 900th career win for Jody Hamilton.
I started coaching in 1983, but I've coached many, many great teams, and, you know, this is just another team that I'm having a lot of fun with, and milestones are great, but, you know, it's all about the kids.
Oh, it's awesome. I actually pitched my freshman year when he got his 800th in the district first round, so this means even more to get his 900th win on my senior year as well.
On to the state softball tournament in Owensboro. Scott County, South Warren, bottom of the 4th. Scott County up 2-0. Princess Valencia pops it up to right. Good enough for a sac fly. Haley Fain comes in safely, but then there's a bad throw at third, so another run scores. Scott County with an easy time, cruising to a 13-4 victory. And East Jessamine taking on undefeated East Carter in the 5th. Malin Miracle sends one to center. This ball rolls to the fence. Abigail James comes around, and it's 5-0 East Jessamine. Hannah James had not allowed a run through 4 innings, but Montana Fouts cranks one to left, and this one is all the way back to the fence. 2 runs come in for East Carter, but East Jessamine able to hold on and win it 7-4. And they began the series all the way back in 1939. This weekend, the annual Kentucky-Indiana Boys and Girls All-Star Games. They will play Saturday. The 4 teams playing in Indianapolis. Then it's back in Louisville at Bellarmine on Sunday. Owen County's Carson Williams is Mr. Basketball. He will wear that #1 jersey, which he says has been a lifelong dream.
Most definitely. The guys are coming out, playing hard, practicing hard, trying to get ready, so I definitely see a sense of pride. If we take pride in our defense and don't let it be just like a typical all-star game, we play hard and rebound, I think we'll be all right.
It's a great honor to have playing with such a great group of guys that has the same mentality as me, is getting to the next level. Being able to come out here and just make new friends and play my last little high school basketball game, it makes it so much fun.
And that's sports. Have a great Friday, everybody.